Okay, while I'm making videos, might as well give people a sense of what my basic setup is like. Everybody's setup is unique. What works for one person may not work for another, but you may look at mine and say, ooh, I got to get me that. And, if that can help make your setup a little bit better, that's fantastic. Okay, so first of all, I started off with a 2 foot by 2 foot piece of 3/4 inch plywood that I picked up at Lowe's. Okay, this is basically the platform for my D1. I make these little feet right there. They're 3D printed out of a material called PETG, which is the same thing that water bottles are made out of. So it's actually, it's good, strong stuff. But how I run mine is I don't have the rubber feet on the bottom of my xTool legs, and the hole in the legs fits right over that semicircle. Okay, so I've got those, and the nice thing about that is that when I put my D1 on it, it's going to end up being in the same place every single time. Okay, I've got a Honeycomb. This is just a Honeycomb I picked up at off of Amazon. It works. It's not the xTool one, but that's okay. It came with a sheet of aluminum that goes underneath. Best I can tell, either I've been squeezing oranges in my sleep, or that's like the resin or glue and gunk that's in the plywood that I cut. I usually cut 3mm birch. I've got a couple of scrap strips of wood there that actually hold down the metal base, the aluminum plate, and it also gives me a guide for sliding my Honeycomb into place. Okay, so again, that way, after I take my D1 off, when I return it to its workspace, it's back where it belongs. Okay, now the beauty of these little feet, I take my D1, I put the legs over the feet, everything's good. Okay, it's not going to move. It goes back to exactly the same location every single time, and I'm a big consistency guy, so there you go. Okay, I do have my little air pump there for my air assist. Here is, I don't know, a 13 or 14-year-old Dell mobile workstation that I'm using for running Lightburn and running my printer, although of course you can see that LaserBox Basic is open right there. I had one project that was still a LaserBox file. Okay, got this little, again, ancient piece of history back from, the last millennium, that has different switches for turning things on and off, because I've got a switch for the D1, I've got a switch for the air assist, and I have a switch for my axial fan. Okay, now I do run an enclosure. Right now it's not on top of anything. Okay, but here's my enclosure. I don't know what it is. It's like a ComGrow or something like that. But you know what? It's the right dimensions and it works. It's not the xTool unit, but the xTool unit wasn't available when I bought my D1, and I knew I wanted to be sucking all those nasty smells out the window. Okay, so I actually 3D printed a 3-inch, because that's the connector inside of here for it's really dryer tube is what it is. And the dryer tube's 4-inch, the hole's 3-inch. So I designed real quickly and 3D printed a 3-inch to 4-inch adapter. And then I have my dryer vent hose that's tightened to that with a radiator clamp. And then it's tightened to my axial fan on the other side. I'm real fortunate. I'm actually working in our finished basement. But I've got a window, and so what I did to kind of make it a semi-permanent installation is I actually took a piece of scrap. If you're in construction, it's actually a piece of TimberTech for trim, and it actually works great because it's not actually wood, so it's not going to warp. I cut the right sized hole in it for the axial fan to set in there. I've actually got a mesh barrier on the other side so I don't get mosquitoes crawling in. But here's my axial fan, and this takes all of the smells from my cutting, all the fumes from my cutting, kicks them outside so I don't have to breathe them. Okay. And also, of course, because what we're doing is actually a little dangerous because we're dealing with lasers and we're dealing with many times combustible materials. I actually have a couple of fire extinguishers. Highly, highly, highly recommended. This is actually an old one. I need to take it to the fire station and get it recharged. But I do have a new one here too. And again, that should be part of your maintenance, making sure that your fire extinguisher, A, is right next to your laser cutter, and B, is fully charged so that when you need the fire extinguisher to do its job, it's going to do its job for you, and you won't burn your house down, hopefully. Okay? So that's a little tour of my workspace. Oh, by the way, I share it with my wife. Well, I'm not really going to say share because, as you can see, I kind of took over most of the space. But this is my little workspace. And yeah, there we go. And anyway, thanks for watching. I hope it gave you some ideas on how to organize your space, how to set things up. In a sec, I'll restart again just for a couple of seconds just to show you the enclosure in place over top of the xTool, just to show you how all that stuff goes together. Okay, bear with me. All right, and I'm back. Okay, so here's my enclosure in place. It's a ComGrow, fits perfectly. You know, is it as good as the xTool one that was designed specifically for that machine? No. Does it work? Absolutely. Okay. Probably the main issue is it doesn't have holes on the right-hand side for the power and USB connectors, but I just kind of feed them down from the inside. Okay. So here's my cover all in place. I do actually have one of these little IKEA LED lights that illuminates my laser surface. I also picked up one of these little tiny blink cams, which are kind of limited in what they can do, but I have an app on my phone, and when I'm not sitting right here at the laser engraver, I can click on my little blink app and see what my engraver's up to, or see whether it's done a job or whatever. Okay. Anyway, that's my setup. Okay, there is the exhaust hose coming out the other side. Yeah, it's not really supported, but it works well enough. And there's the dryer vent hose going to the axial fan that's pumping all the smokiness and yuckiness out the window. All right, thanks again for watching. If you have any comments or questions, please pop them in the comments section. And there we go.